now, a third of Americans actually believe that a second civil war will happen within the next 5 years. Now, what does that actually mean? A civil war? Because the Civil War was really about race and slavery. So what makes people think, do they see something I don't see? Did we miss something?
Yes, they see that we're going backwards. They see that now it's still about otherism. It's now about immigrants. It's now about Muslims. And so we're very much in that culture war. I mean, John Meacham's book outlines our history. I mean, this is not the first time that we see children separated from their families. Black children were separated from their families throughout the history of this country. And so let's face it, a second civil war, we are in the grasp of a civil war now, a culture war.
There's a tremendous fear amongst the white elites who are running the joint, and many of their supporters, that black and brown people will be the majority soon.
Well, we already are the majority.
Well, it's getting to be more and more. And this is the fear that is, they are stoking the fear of these supporters, in my opinion, this racist fear that this is what's going to happen. Your white privilege is going to be taken away. It's all fear-based. We live in New York City, okay? In New York City, every color of the rainbow gets along just fine.
And the rainbow.
And the rainbow.
Can I say one thing really quick?
So let me finish something. There is a tremendous fear of this happening in Europe. It's happening. It's happening in Italy, my favorite country, my family's country. It's so upsetting to see that happen there. That there's fear mongering going on at the top. They're telling Italians, "Oh, they're coming from Africa. They're going to take over your country." It's so sickening to see this happen, and this is what's driving it. It's fear, fear, fear. So remember that.
First thing, when I first came to the show, when you guys first hired me, I talked about the culture war in the meeting, and I believe your quote was, "What war it takes two sides to fight." I'm glad we've all conceded that there is an actual culture war that's raging in this country. The second thing I want to say is that, okay, except for you, Whoopi. The second thing I want to say is that, yes, some of this is about race. I think we can concede that. But a lot of this is also about poverty, which, again, seems to be missed in the mainstream media. When you are living in a tiny town in America and your coal mine or steel mine went under and opiate addiction is raging in your town and there is no hope for your kids and you can't pay your insurance and you can't pay
It sounds
your
like
college.
black people.
But I'm trying to, again, we had...
You know, I don't mean that. I don't mean that in a crazy way.
I adore you, as you know.
Yes.
But that was a cheap shot. I'm trying to explain.
Wait.
No, I'm trying to
No. I know what you're trying to do. I get it. And that's why I said it with a smile, because poor people are everywhere. There's not just white.
As well.
Yes.
I'm trying to explain. I have been to these places.
So have I, Megan. We've both been there. We know.
We had John Meacham saying Trump's getting elected in 2020 on the show. He's a presidential historian. It's more than likely going to happen if there are no lessons learned. And again, everyone's in a lot of pain. A lot of stuff is raging. I just come on the show every day trying to explain what Red America is thinking and doing and why this man got elected, because I truly believe I understand
appreciate your position.
I know, and I
truly appreciate
we all do.
What I would like to know, to your point, is why do people think that the Republican Party, with Trump in charge, is going to help them out of their poverty when they give tax breaks to the very wealthy in this country?
Because
when he has trade policies that are going to destroy American
his messaging is better than yours. His messaging is better than what Democrats
even if it's a lie.
It is. Even if it's a lie, it's best. It's when someone comes to you, sometimes when you're so poor, and again, I don't know this, it's just the people I've talked to, it's easier to believe I'm going to make America great, I'm going to make it easier for you to make it better. Even if it's a lie,
well, if you don't invest in education.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 24, verse 33. Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep, verse 34. So shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man. First and foremost, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash, Barakatah. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutation to the Yakim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and making their body as a living sacrifice for Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. My brother Samak from the GMS Miami camp. And the reason why I brought out the book of Proverbs, chapter 24, verse 33 to 34, all right, because you Americans, man, all right, you have been asleep, okay, to what's going on, okay, in your country, man. You have been asleep, okay, for far too long, where it has gotten to the point where, hey, 1/3 of your own American comrades see that a civil war is going to break out. All right? And from watching The View, this is the reason why I'm making the video, because I'm like, wow, they put this on The View? This is watched predominantly by women. It goes to show you that, hey, man, this event is going to happen, man. All right? Civil war is going to break out. And what's going to be the catalyst for it? And that's why I brought out verse 34 of Proverbs. Poverty. All right? Desperation. Not having anything. All right? Because the economy will tank. The economy is going to melt. All right? And that's what's going to lead up to the civil war. And then, okay, like a woman in travail. And then you're going to end up wanting to, okay, getting to survival mode, okay, like an armed man invading one another, okay, like a thief, all right, a bandit. And that's why this civil war is going to pop off, okay. You have The View. Let me show you, just to give you a little visual aid. The View, all right. Majority of them, majority of them said, yeah, we see it coming. One said fear is the reason why it's going to happen. One said culture wars. All right, this Edomite walrus, she has some type of brain. She said poverty, all right, because that's really what it's going to be, all right? So, yeah, you have majority of even these, okay, these women, all right, these beasts of a women saying, yeah, it's inevitable, right? Only dummy is Whoopi, all right? Goldberg, all right? This goes to show you where the so-called black woman's mind is at, majority of them, all right? She can't see it, man, all right? She scoffed at it. She tried to make a little scoff at it, right? But hey, it's coming, man, all right? What you're about to see is a civil war breakout, all right? Tensions is rising, all right? You're seeing political strife amongst Republicans and Democrats. It's here, man, all right? But what's the main catalyst? What's the reason why it's going to happen? It's because of poverty. And this walrus of an Edomite said it, man. All right. So now let's go to this article, all right? Because she said something that was very pivotal, important. She said, because she said, yeah, they'll even believe Trump even when he lies, right? And here's one of these lies of the Civil War, why it's going to break out. Congressman warns of U.S. heading towards civil war. 31% of Americans agree. All right, you even have a congressman, all right? The United States is heading towards a civil war. Congressman Steve King has warned. His sentiments are mirrored by a troubling new poll which shows that 31% of Americans believe a second civil war is likely in the next 5 years. I personally believe it's going to happen sooner than that. That's just my observation. Just all the tension that's rising. Okay, everything, man. The Republican congressman from Iowa made his eyebrow-raising comment in response to a report about protesters occupying an Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE office in Portland, Oregon. He tweeted that, quote, America's heading in the direction of another Harper's Ferry, adding that after that comes Fort Sumter, all right? And here it is, a picture, him tweeting this, all right, because these protesters about the immigration, all right? And that's just the narrative, all right? Because the real, notice, why are all these people protesting? How come they're not working? Because they don't got no fucking jobs, all right? This is really just plain, it's plain. So they're like, fuck it, let's just protest about shit. And then they're going along with the narrative, all right? That's set up by the elite. King was referring to the siege of Fort Sumter in the harbor of Charleston, South Carolina in April 1861, which marked the start of the Civil War. Harper's Ferry was a Virginia town where militant abolitionists John Brown led a raid against the federal armory in October 1859 in a failed attempt to spark a slave uprising. Right. And really, the reason why the Second Civil War is happening, man, all right, is because of you're seeing more of a rise of abolitionists. And when you go to abolition, it means the destruction of a system, all right? Destruction of institutions, okay? And that's what you're seeing. You're seeing uprising of those that want to destroy the institutions of America because they're not benefiting off of it, all right? So let's get into another scripture, okay? Because this is what's coming to America. Proverbs 10 and 15. The rich man's wealth is his strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. Right, in America, you're now reaping, okay, the poverty. Majority of the Americans are in poverty, and that's your destruction, right? Because you're no longer a strong city anymore, okay? That's why you're divided. That's why you have now The View reporting 1 in 3 Americans foresee a civil war coming. It was a poll. A congressman said it too, all right? That's why destruction is coming, all right? Because at the end of the day, all right, your country is divided because poverty has been sown. And it's time, man, all right? So now, let's get into a couple of articles to prove why, the reason why the poverty is set, all right? And, oh, wait, whoa. Before I get to article, let me get to Ecclesiastes, all right? Because they're not going to bring out, the news media is not going to bring out, oh, all right, okay, your CNNs, your Fox News, they're not going to bring out, oh, it's because of poverty, the reason why we're having a civil war. No, they're going to bring out the bullshit narrative, all right? And here's why. Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 4, all right? Mainly Donald Trump, all right? Because Donald Trump's going to have to calm his base. Where the word of a king is, there is power, right? So just like this congressman said, oh, because of the whole ICE situation, all right, what you're seeing out here, all right, Donald Trump's zero tolerance immigration policy, all right, this is how Donald Trump is going to set the narrative, okay? He's going to say the reason why, okay, we're having these situations, these uprisings and all that, all right, is because of these Hispanics. They're taking your jobs. Oh, not only are they taking your jobs, you're paying for their welfare programs, you're paying for their food stamps, and they're illegal, okay? Oh, you so-called Negroes, all right, you're part of that problem too. They're going to say, yeah, a majority of these blacks, they're lazy, okay? They don't want to work. They don't want to assimilate. They just want to live off all these benefits. That's the reason why we're in economic turmoil. That's the reason why you're in poverty, all right? He's going to give the so-called white man, okay, go to war. And that's why the Civil War is going to break out, because you're going to have other, okay, so-called white Edomites, all right, countering that. No, it's because of you rich people, right? Just like this woman said. She said the rich elite, okay, the wealthy white men, as she likes to call so-called white men, okay, that's the reason why the Civil War is going to break out, all right? There's going to be so many narratives, all right, the reason why the Civil War is going to break out, all right? And you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, you're going to get caught in the middle of it, all right? You're going to get caught in the middle of it, all right? While the Egyptians versus the Egyptians, they kill each other, you're going to be part of that problem, and they're going to annihilate you as well, all right? Because, hey, man, all hell's about to break loose in America, all right? You're having The View talk about 1 in 3 Americans foresee a civil war, all right? These women talk about uplifting the woman, and they're bringing us out on The View, all right? That goes to show you the times that we're living in. Let me continue on. Verse 4, where the word of the king is, there is power, and who may say unto him, what doest thou right? No one's going to question Trump, all right? Those that believe in him. That's why that woman said, right, this walrus of an Edomite, she said they're going to believe his lies, okay? They're going to believe his lies because when they hear make America great again, you want to make America great again? We got to get, okay, these blacks and Hispanics out of the land. All right, we got to stop them. You want to make America great again? You got to stop these liberals, these Democrats, okay? Trump's going to deliver the message that's going to, okay, make those that are in poverty feel like they have a place in the society, and they're going to fight in the Civil War, all right? Hey, the handwriting's on the wall, Y'all better get ready, all right? Verse 5. Whoso keepeth the commandment shall feel no evil thing. Right, the elect are not going to be startled by this. The elect are going to be like, hey, I definitely see, right? Why? Because, and a wise man's heart discerneth both the time and the judgment, right? The time and the judgment. So when Donald Trump goes off and starts blaming certain groups of people like Hitler did, hey, we know the time and judgment because this has to happen, okay? This has to happen, all right? This is the time and judgment. We're living in the last days where civil war will break out, all right? They're going to use a narrative, all right, to create this civil war, to what? To have an opposition, all right? Because Satan's house is divided. Verse 6, because to every purpose there's a time and a judgment. Therefore the misery of man is great upon him, right? There's a time and a judgment, and we're living in a time of judgment, all right? Because, hey, the miseries are coming upon you people here in America, all right? You heathens living in America, you start with your so-called white people who are the biblical Edomites, all right? Miseries are coming upon you. You 2/3 living, here in America, all right, who want to continue following the so-called white men, continue believing in America, miseries are going to come upon you, all right? You're gonna die out here in the last days, all right? Because we're living in a time of poverty. And this is what's going to set the tone, all right, for the narrative, all right? The reason why you're down and out is because, all right, they're going to lie, but they're not going to tell you why you're in poverty, all right? But if you've been watching, all right, here at Great Millstone, we're going to tell you the reason why. Because America's done. The death of the American middle class has brought department stores down with it. You see that? Experts say that the recent closing of Bon-Ton and ongoing struggles of department stores are linked to the death of the middle class in the United States. Boom. All right? Wall Street fucked you. All right? That's what happened. According to the Deloitte study, revenues has grown 81% and 37% at high-end and budget stores, respectively, in the last 5 years. Meanwhile, stores in the middle range have seen 2% increase in sales. Right, so who's the only one spending at the high end? Wall Street is all right? And the budget stores are what? The middle class is disappearing. Low and middle income customers increasingly shop at the budget stores, aka also known as discounters and dollar stores, forcing retailers that once served these customers like Bon-Ton and its subsidiary brands to close shop. Analysts from intelligence firm Gartner L2 wrote in recent report on department stores. Right, so the middle class stores are being wiped out. All you're having is high end for Wall Street fuckboys and the super elite, all right, the Illuminati in them. And then you're having the budget stores, which are for the poor, like us, all right, shopping at discounters and dollar stores, okay? That's why the Civil War is going to break out, all right? Because this cannot sustain, all right? Let's continue on. The Hill. CBO projects grim budget outlook under Trump, all right? This is from your own government, United States, which is seeing a rising red ink under President Trump. In 30 years, the U.S. debt burden is projected to double, eclipsing even the debt carried by the United States during World War II. Payments, right? And that's another thing, man. These are the innuendos right here. That's how you know America's going to go into that World War III, all right? Because it's got to get out of its debt or make an attempt to, which it won't. Because while World War III happens, the Civil War is going to happen. America is going to be so divided that it's not even going to be able to defend internally its own nation. That's why Russia and Iran and China, they are patiently waiting to see this Civil War break out, man. All right? They're patiently waiting to see you Americans fight each other to the death. And it's going to happen, man, because this is the judgment that's coming. We live in a time of judgment where America has to be judged. All right? Payments the U.S. government makes to China and other holding U.S. debt, which surpassed projected Social Security spending in 2048, the report found. Interest payments will also exceed discretionary spending. That's usury. The amount that Congress approves for defense and non-defense spending each year, which is projected to hit 5.4% of gross domestic product by 2048. And that leads me to this. Because whatever Trump says, he's not going to admit where all your money went for tax dollars, all right, was to the defense budget. It is plain, okay? Salakia, all right? Satan messing with my computer, all right? It is plain. The defense budget, the military is where most of your money went. Most of your tax dollars went. That's why they're not going to be able, all right, to deliver you out of your poverty, the government, and they're going to have to set a narrative because you're going to see civil unrest, and Trump's going to have to say certain groups of people, mainly you so-called blacks and Hispanics, all right? You're going to be, you're basically the patsy. All right? It's plain, man. That's why we at Great Millstone, all right? We tell you over and over again, come back to Yahweh Shemel so he can deliver you. Come back to your law, statutes, commands, come back to your heritage, all right? Because you're going to be known as the patsy, all right? They're not going to tell you, oh, we spent all your money on these wars, all right? We spent all this money on these black projects, all right? Because that's where all the money's going to, all right? America's defense, all right? They're not going to tell you, they're not going to say that as the reason why the economy is fucked up, all right? Your division of Republicans and Democrats, all right? But hey, for the congressman, let me get back to the point. Just to make this point and then get back to that article, all right? Salakia, bear with me while this is loading up because, you know, Satan just hates this truth coming out and it's just consistently making my computer slow, all right? This is from our team. Once again, these Edomites believe is because of you so-called Hispanics, all right? As the problem, as well as you Negroes, right? Because they're going to say you're a bunch of thugs, you're lazy, all right? All you know how to do is create problems, so on and so forth, all right? But for him to say this, it proves that they're not telling all right their own race of people the main point because they're the devil, all right? The elites are deceiving their own people, all right? Because they're the devil, all right? So let's get back to the CBO again report, all right? Because I want to get to a main reason why, all right? So for all you stupid Americans watching, okay? And by the way, I'm going to post all this on the description box so you can read for yourself, all right? Most of the rising debt is related to an aging population and rising entitlement spending, right? Which is the bullshit. This is the lie. This is the narrative. Because who's getting the entitlement spending, right? They're going to say blacks and Hispanics, all right, social welfare programs, okay, food stamps, right? That's who they blaming. Even though I just showed you, it's the military is where the most of the money is spent, okay? Problems that were bedeviling the United States well before Trump's election, right? And so that's the narrative they're going to push out, okay? Because they're the devil, all right? And Scripture says in Psalms 58:3, the wicked are estranged from the womb speaking lies. I'm not going to get it. Psalms 58 verse 3, the wicked are estranged from the womb speaking lies, all right? You can look that up, all right? So now this brings me to this article right here because they said an over popularity you're about to is resulting from an aging population in the U.S. Now you see that? There's been a wave of public school teacher strikes around the U.S. It started in West Virginia and spread to Kentucky, Oklahoma, Arizona, and elsewhere. Pensions have been issued in all of them. Demographic and economic reality says that younger teachers won't get anything like the benefits they see current retirees receiving, right? And it's not just teachers. The same is true for police officers, firefighters, and other public sector workers. Woo-wee! Yeah, you police officers that are watching us here at Great Millstone, all right? Okay, keeping tabs on us, all right? Your pensions are being fucked over, all right? How you like them apples, okay? How you like that? Firefighters, all right? Your pensions, you ain't getting your pensions, all right? And all the public sector. Watch how they break this down. Digging through this challenge, I'm struck by how many of our economic problems results from the steady aging of the world's population. World's population. So they're saying your pensions are attached to the world's population, okay? That's why the Civil War is going to break out, man, all right? Because all these, okay, state employees, all right, are going to not get their pensions, and they're going to want to know what the reason is, and then Donald Trump's going to set that narrative, and then you're going to have those that believe and those that don't, and that's going to set the Civil War. Fertility rates are at a lows as lifespan speed. Right, because it's too fucking expensive, all right? Hello, put 2 to 2 together. We are right now living through a demographic storm unprecedented in human history. Birth rates have plunged to a near or below replacement levels, and average lifespans have increased to 80 and beyond. Okay, so there you have it, all right? Let's get to another point of this. Reason why this shit's about to hit the fan. Get to it. Okay, here we go. It says, similarly, states and local governments are asking current young workers to support those already in the pension system. The math is the same, though numbers vary from area to area. How can one worker support 2 or 3 retirees while still working and trying to raise a family with mortgage payments, food, healthcare, etc.? Obviously, they can't, at least not forever. But no one wants to admit that, so we just ignore reality. Right. And so they're going to set, because they're not going to tell you the truth, they're going to set the narrative. All right? It's these Hispanics, illegal immigrants, they're taking your jobs, they're on all these social programs. They're not telling you that, no, all right? There's too many people, all right? There's not enough workers because it's too expensive, all right? There's 1 worker for every 3 retirees. They're not going to tell you that, all right? They're not going to tell you the point. That's why, all right, the Civil War is going to break out. Next one. For you stupid police officers, funding will rise dramatically during the next recession, right? And it's coming. The next recession is coming, okay? Colorado, Hawaii, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, Rhode Island, and South Carolina, so on and so forth, all right? You maggots, let's get the scriptures. Stores are closing down, all right? Toys R Us, Sam's Club, Starbucks, Walmart, everything's shutting down, okay? There's more poverty in America than has ever been seen. The news media, mainstream media could try to lie to your fucking face, all right? The numbers don't lie, though, all right? And so, and people are experiencing that. That's why 1/3 said, yeah, Civil War is coming, all right? And this Edomite walrus said, yeah, it's because of poverty. That's the reason why. And she's right. I can agree with that statement right there. It's because of poverty. And they're going to use culture. They're going to use fear to push out the Civil War because they'll never tell you, okay, that you're going to lose your pensions because, all right, we betted it all on Wall Street, all right? And we didn't account for the cost of living and all that, all right? Because America's going down, because America has lived out its course, all right? And they won't go to the Bible because these are fucking heathens. So let's get back to Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 3. The day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out the window be darkened, right? Which means look out the window, all right? Because you know how you look out the window, you're supposed to see the sunrise and all that, right? You meditate on the future. Oh, I'm going to be doing this in my life. Now when you look out the window, you see nothing but darkness, all right? Because you have no future. And you Americans see it. 1/3 see it, all right? The poverty has taken over. You have no future. You just see nothing but darkness. You see war. You see death coming. And the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grounding is low, right? No more jobs, all right? You're going to lose it all, okay? You're going to lose your jobs. And he shall rise up the voice of the bird, and all the doors of music shall be brought low, right? Because you even seeing the music is trash, all right? That's how you know. These are the signs, all right? Hey, let's get back to the scripture, man. Back to Ecclesiastes 8 and 5. Whoso keepeth the commandments shall feel no evil thing, and a wise man's heart discerneth the time, the season, the signs, and judgment. Because we live in a time, the season, 2018, of prophecy. And we see judgment coming, all right? And that's why we see all these articles is just proof that America is over, all right? Last article. And then I'm going to get to the scriptures and close out. The United Nations says 18.5 million Americans are in extreme poverty. Trump's team says just 250,000 are. And this goes to show you how lying the Trump administration and his establishment is to the people, man. The Trump administration says the United Nations is overestimating the number of Americans in extreme poverty by about 18.25 million people, reflecting a stark disagreement about the extent of poverty in the nation and resources needed to fight. All right? In May, Philip G. Alston, special repertoire on extreme poverty and human rights for the UN, published a report saying 40 million Americans live in poverty and 18.5 million Americans live in extreme poverty. Right? So you got the United Nations even saying you Americans are living in poverty. 18.25 million are living in extreme poverty, all right? But in rebuke to the report on Friday, United States official told the United Nations Human Rights Council there only appeared to be approximately 250,000 Americans in extreme poverty, calling Alston numbers exaggerated. Really? How the hell can you exaggerate 18.25 million to your exaggeration, 250,000? Goes to show you they're fucking lying, all right? Numbers don't add up, all right? And that's another reason why America left the Human Rights Council, all right? Because it is a human rights issue according to United Nations standards that you have, okay, a lot of you Americans in this type of poverty, all right? And that's why Trump left. That's why the United Nations Human Rights Council left that's why America left the United Nations Human Rights Council, all right? Because of all of these reports, all right? And they're going to talk about, oh, all these other nations are treating their nation inhumane. Look what you're doing to your own people in America, you stupid elites. But you want to do that, all right? But you're going to put these lies out, so be it, all right? Now let's get to the scriptures. Because this is of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. At the end of the day, he's the one doing this. Ecclesiasticus, or the book of Sirach, chapter 11, verse 14. Prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of the Lord. Plain, all right? America, at one point you were living in prosperity. At one point you had your life. At one point you had your riches. That came of the Lord. But now it's time for your judgment because we're at the end and his people are waking up, the elect. They're waking up to their true biblical nationality. You're now seeing on the streets, on the highways and byways, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans waking up to their true biblical nationality, all right? Proclaiming their heritage, proclaiming their true power. So now, America, you went from prosperity to adversity. And now that's why the Civil War is going to break out. You went from life to death. That's why the Civil War is going to break out. You went from riches to poverty. That's why the Civil War is going to break out. And this is all of the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Shai, because he's bringing an end to your country. 2nd Esdras, chapter 15, verse poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses and destruction and death. Right, that's what's coming to America. Poverty, famine, sword, pestilence, all to destroy your homes with death and destruction. That's it. All right? That's what's coming. Okay? That's what's coming. And you're seeing a rise in these abolitionists, man. And they're going to be destroying the system, man. All right? All right. And let's go to Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 10. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, that there shall be a noise of a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. Right, man. All right? That's what's coming, man. And crying, all right? Fish gate, right? That represents your markets, okay? Your markets are going to cease. And there's going to be howling and screaming, and your governments are going to crash because there's going to be nothing but civil unrest, chaos, civil wars, all going to break out. Verse 11. Howl ye, inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down right. Just like what happened in Maktesh, so it's going to happen here in America, all right? Your merchants are going to be cut down. America's going to be cut down, man. And they that bear silver are cut off right, all right? You're going to be cut off, all right? This place is going to be a savage environment. No more commerce is going to be conducted here, all right? It's going to be a dog-eat-dog world. Verse 12, and it shall come to pass at that time that I will search Jerusalem with candles and punish the men that are settled on their lees, that say in their heart, the Lord will not do good, neither will do evil, neither will he do evil. Right, and that's you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Americans. You're going to get caught out here, right? The narrative is being set. You think it's a coincidence that they're using immigrants and the so-called Latinos as a narrative to reason why, okay, you don't have any jobs, illegal immigrants, the reason why the social programs are insolvent and all that. You don't think they're using it as a narrative? Of course they are, right? The elites of these Edomites are making sure that their nation believes them, all right? And they see Donald Trump as a rich man. You think they're going to listen to you little motherfuckers? Hell no. That's why you clowns that don't want to come back to Yahweh Shem Shah, you're going to die in these last days, all right? Because you're settled on your lees, all right? That's why the Lord's going to punish you, because you are not paying attention, right? Oh, and the rest, you can apply this scripture to the rest of you maggots in America, all right? You heathens. You're set on your leads too. You don't think judgment's coming to America. You got The View saying war or civil war, okay, reporting that 1/3 out of Americans believe a civil war is coming, man. All right? They could have talked about any topic under the sun. They talked about this. So yeah, that scripture can apply to your dumbasses too. All right? Let's continue on, because this is what's coming to the world, man, especially here in America. Because, hey, didn't this Edomite said, it's not just happening here. She said Italy, right? That they're blaming all these other people, all right? And that's why this civil war is going to break out, because people are tired of hearing some are tired of hearing the blame game. So this is what you're going to see. 2nd Esdras chapter 15, and I'm going to start at 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, right? Death and destruction. Verse 15, excuse me. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, right? That's why the civil war is coming, okay? You're going to see civil war. Hey, not even just here in America, all abroad, man. People are going to invade one another, all right? Invade each other. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, right? Because you're going to have, okay, half the people here in America not even want to listen to Donald Trump. They're not going to care about Donald Trump. They're not going to care about what the mayor says, what the governor says, what the congressman of their district says. They're not going to care. They're going to rob, kill, steal. It's going to be, okay, kill each other. Civil war, all right? Civil, all right? War. Think about that, okay? Look up those words. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power, right? Because they're going to say, I got the power. I'm making I'm calling the shots. The hell with Donald Trump.